Let's date forever. Here's your weekly dose of relationship fuel with Sammi and Nathan Jaeger. Hello and welcome to Date Forever. In this week's episode, we're diving into the next tank in our Fueled Up Life methodology, which is wealth and lifestyle.
So if you haven't heard any of the mini-series yet, we're talking about what makes up a fueled up life. And it's this basic idea that we've got 8 different areas of our life that need fuel. So the first one is about your relationship with yourself.
So the second one is about your romantic relationship.
The third one is about your relationship and network, your friends, your family, your kids, your colleagues.
The fourth one is humming household. So that's everything related to running of your home.
The fifth one is career and business.
The sixth one, which is the tank that we're diving into today, is wealth and lifestyle.
Number 7 is the world.
And number 8, finally, is the future.
So the fueled up life is just this idea that each one of these different areas of your life needs different kinds of fuel, and they each burn fuel at a different rate too. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the wealth and lifestyle tank, what it is, what it means, how you use fuel, how you add some back in, and what's working for Nathan and I.
Yeah. So Sammi, what do we mean by wealth and lifestyle?
So the wealth and lifestyle tank is really about life being by design and not by default. So the wealth is talking about the money and the abundance of resources, not just cash, but also your time. And then the lifestyle is how do you spend that? How do you spend that time? How do you spend that money? How do you spend that energy? And is that compatible with the person that you're doing life with? Or do you have different ideas about how you want to spend those resources? So I think a really big part of keeping this wealth and lifestyle tank fueled up is about knowing, like, what does your current lifestyle cost? How many hours do you need to work to generate the income that you are currently earning or maybe want to be earning?
Yeah, for sure. I think even taking a little step back from that, it's about really unpacking in yourself and in your couple, what do you really want life to actually look like? So how do you want to be spending your time? What are the things that you want to be doing? How much time do you want to spend working? How much time do you want to spend doing leisure things? And then from that point, really understanding how much that's going to cost.
So for me, a really big part of lifestyle is work that matters when and where I want. So for me, it's not about not working or earning enough cash that I can retire at 40 or something like that. It's very much about doing work that really is meaningful and purposeful and impactful to me and the world, and having the autonomy and freedom to do that when I want and where I want. So not being tied to a location or somebody else's schedule, that I get to set that for myself. And that's a really big part of the lifestyle that I'm shooting for, because that's what I really want out of this life. Whereas there's other people who would think that that's a freaking nightmare, and they're quite happy to have, quite a lot of routine and structure and scaffolding around how they interact with their work. Whereas for me, I like it to be a lot more fluid and interchanging, and, that most days and weeks are not really the same. And that's a really big part of the lifestyle that I really want to live. But it's taken a long time to even acknowledge that that was something that I want, and then make decisions that would empower me to have more of that. What about you, Nath? When you think about lifestyle, how do you imagine it?
So my lifestyle aspiration is very similar. I do like a bit more structure than what Sammi is talking about. And I do love a good routine and things like that. But having the flexibility to be able to do work when and where I like, and if that means that I set myself up a structure to do that, then that's great. But I really do love and aspire to be able to do that in the future. And I've got aspects of that now at the moment too.
Yeah, I think a really big part of this lifestyle thing is not just obviously the work component, which is how a lot of us spend quite a lot of our time in a normal week. But it's about, like, how do you, in a great week or month or fortnight, what do you do on a normal weeknight evening or a weekend evening or a weekend day? Like, how do you spend that time, and how do you want to be spending that time?
So one of the great starting points and somewhere where we started was really trying to crunch our numbers financially and work out where we are from a wealth perspective at the moment. So but the activity that we kind of went through was really understanding how much are we actually spending week to week? How much does our current lifestyle cost? And is there anything that we really need to be doing now to financially support the lifestyle that we currently have?
So I think another big part of this like wealth and lifestyle piece, when you're in a couple or in a relationship, particularly if you're living with someone, about understanding your own relationship with money and your partner's relationship with money as well.
Yeah, I think through all the conversations that we've had on this podcast and just to other people, to our friends and things like that, money can be such a sore point, I guess, within relationships or a tension point. And it is one of those things where everybody brings a different perspective on money into a relationship. Normally that has come from their parents and seeing how their parents manage money.
And even if it is polite or rude to talk about money.
Absolutely, yeah. So really understanding each other's relationship with money can be a great starting point for some of these wealth conversations and some of these finance conversations. And once you really understand some of the drivers behind people's relationship with money, it does really help you understand some of the decision making of yourself and your partner and why you might financially be making decisions to maybe not go on a holiday because you want the security around having a bit more money in the bank rather than going and doing that lifestyle thing that maybe you do want to do, but you're not financially in a place that you feel secure to be able to do that.
I think another really big part of this wealth and lifestyle tank being really fueled up for us is that we're managing our finances and our time proactively. And that when money comes in, we know we've got a plan for what we're doing with it.
Yeah.
And the same for our time. You know, we are very mindful about when are the public holidays? When are we taking annual leave? When are we going to be able to travel? When are we going to spend time with our friends? What are the events that are coming up that we really want to go to? So we are very proactive about the way that we manage our time. And we try to be really intentional about how we spend that time and who we spend that time with. But I think a really big part of even being able to be proactive with your time and your money and your energy is about understanding what it is that you want. A really big turning point for me in lifestyle and holding boundaries around my time was reading Sarah Knight's book, The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck. And she talks about this idea of a fuck budget, that we've only got so much time, money, and energy to spend. And how do you really want to spend that? And are you currently spending those very precious resources on things that don't bring you joy or that you're doing out of obligation rather than because they really are fueling you up? So after reading that book, I got a lot more ruthless about saying no thank you to things that I previously would have felt quite obligated or felt some sort of social pressure to say yes to or to attend or accept every invitation. So I think it's really easy to say that, oh, you just really need to know what you want. But I think one of the greatest exercises that I've done in this sort of wealth and lifestyle and life by design is to really imagine, not like current day, but like somewhere in the future, what do I want my life to look like? What do I want my life to feel like? You know, on a normal week, what time do I get out of bed? When and where do I exercise? What does my relationship with food look like? How much time am I spending preparing my own food, or how does that happen in a perfect world? Like, do I walk my dog twice a day, every day? Like all of those kinds of things. If you consider like in a dream world, what would you choose to do?
And it's such a fun exercise to do as well, like to just throw ideas out there and see whether it sticks and see whether it's something that you do really actually aspire to. And everybody has such different views around what they do want in life. So it is a really fun exercise to just throw some ideas around and work out what you do actually really want out of life.
Wouldn't it be cool if...
Yeah. ...
And I think like this lifestyle piece, like this was a big thing for Nathan and I. Somewhere on our vision board is a picture of a beautiful home on the coast front, on the water. And about 18 months ago, we went, okay, we're not quite at the financial place where we can have the right on the water thing, but we could definitely get closer to it.
Yeah.
And we made a really big lifestyle decision to move house, move suburb, move area to get us a whole lot closer to that beachside lifestyle. And it was through that alignment of knowing what we wanted and then figuring out, okay, if we can't have the whole package just yet, what could we do that could bring us closer?
Yeah. So a huge piece of this too is once you've thrown the ideas out there of what lifestyle you might want, you can actually do some really good projecting of what your future lifestyle costs are going to be to attain that lifestyle. So we did this exercise quite a few years ago.
And we've done it a couple of times.
Yeah, we've done a few refreshes since then. And it has been really nice to go back through that vision and work out, well, how often do we want a cleaner to come in and clean our house? And therefore, how much is that going to cost us to be able to do that a little bit more regularly than maybe we had planned the first time round?
And would we rather have a cleaner come and do our place, or would we rather have a night in a hotel every so often?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different options out there, and it has been really nice for us to be able to revisit that little vision and that future forecast, and therefore work out what numbers and how much we need to earn to be able to, or what our wealth looks like for us to be able to support that lifestyle that we really want to attain.
Yeah, and I don't think there's like a bigger is better kind of approach to this. I think it's really about tapping into like what would just feel amazing, what life would feel amazing. And that's not to say that you can't love and appreciate and enjoy your current life, but I think it's really nice to be aspiring for something. And that sense of progress, I know for me that feels really rewarding when I make progress towards my goals. But I think even things like how much time are you spending sleeping? Like, and do you have a really good habit and routine around that lifestyle element of how you treat yourself and your body? I think that plays a really big part in this wealth and lifestyle piece.
So one of the final pieces for this wealth and lifestyle area is really making sure that you're financially set up to have a fallback in place in case of emergencies. So Sammi and I have this really morbid idea that at one point an asteroid's going to hit. Something that only happens to other people is going to happen to yourself. It's going to happen sometime in our life, and we've really got to be set up to be able to deal with that. And so having the financial means kind of locked away for a rainy day or locked away in case of emergency fund.
I call it the fuck you fund. Like this came up, and I don't know if that I've always called it this, but I never wanted to be trapped in a job or a house or a situation that I couldn't throw my fuck you money at to get out of it. Like for me, having that rainy day fund is about keeping my options open.
Yeah.
So that I can go and tell the shitty boss, fuck you. So that I can tell the shitty landlord, fuck you.
Yeah.
So that I can tell the shitty housemates, fuck you. Or the shitty airline or the shitty hotel or whatever the thing is. And I think that amount of money is different for everybody, right? The safety net, the nest egg, the amount of money that helps you sleep at night in the bank is different for different people.
And it might also differ over time as well. Like if you've got all the insurances in place, then maybe you don't actually feel like you need all that much money in the bank. Or maybe as your lifestyle grows in the future, maybe you do need to have a bit of a bigger emergency fund there as well to bail you out.
Yeah, and I think like all of the other tanks that we've talked about in this idea of the fueled up life is that I'm not a money expert. I'm not a wealth expert. I'm not a lifestyle expert. I really encourage people to go and seek help. Go and see the financial planner. Go and see a wealth builder. Go and see someone who is an expert at these kinds of things, you know, whether or not it's building property or building shares or stocks or however it is that you're creating and building your wealth, or you have a vision for how you'd like to do that. Get help.
Yeah. And we've definitely done that at a few different times in our life as well. So soon after we got together, we realized that when we were trying to join funds together, that we really didn't have the means or the know-how on how to manage our money. So we went and saw someone to really help us set up the foundations for our financial management. And then as we've grown our wealth and established ourselves in careers a little bit more, that's when we've really started to move into the longer term wealth generation and bring some experts in to help us in that area.
But all in all, I think I know when this tank is running low, where I feel like my lifestyle is not congruent and it's not the way that I want it to be in terms of it. It feels hard and heavy and not fun. And it can be really easy to fall into some of those things where you've made overcommitments or you haven't been handling your expenses or your money well, and then there's a financial burden or some of those surprise costs have come up and you weren't prepared for them. I know what that feels like, and it's hard. It sucks. It's heavy. So for me, keeping this fuel tank topped up is really about being proactive and intentional. I think that for me is the way that I keep this topped up. Because I feel like if I can see what's coming up on the horizon, I can better manage both my time and my money and my energy.
So really everything that we're talking about in this tank is you and your partner designing a life that you really want to live, not a life that anybody else wants to live or what you think needs to be done to tick all the boxes in life. It's really about creating a life that you and your partner really want to live.
I think it's also worth saying, Nath, what you just touched on, not a life that other people think you should live, but what would feel really great for you. Not the Instagram house, not the Instagram car.
Or maybe it is that.
Maybe it is that, yeah. But what would success look like, feel like for you?
So what I would really encourage is get curious. Get curious about the life that you want to live and what is it that is really going to fuel you up in life. Also get curious about the wealth and how much is your life going to cost, or how much is it costing now? And what do you need to do to get to that ideal lifestyle and the financial wealth to support that lifestyle?
And I think if you haven't done it, go through the cheesy exercise of building a vision board, because it's fun to consider, what kind of house do I want to live in? What kind of car do I want to drive? At what age do I want to retire? What kind of work do I want to do? What do I want my office to look like? Do I even have an office? How often do I travel? What skills have I developed? If I had a perfect week, what time did I go to bed? When did I get up? How did I spend my days?
So to say thank you for joining us today, we've supported a global goal that supports one of Sammi and my major lifestyle aspects, which is life below water. So we've supported a beach cleanup in Bali and collected 1 kilo of coastal plastic trash. This project is run by Roll Foundation and supported via our partnership with Buy One, Give One. So thank you so much for listening. Thanks heaps for joining us. If you love what we're doing here and want more, subscribe to the Date Forever podcast to make sure you never miss an ep. Come and hang out with us and other awesome couples who are fueling up their relationships in the Thriving Couples Collective Facebook group, or check us out at fuelcollective.com.au. Until next time, keep on dating, because better relationships equal a better world.